Welcome back, everybody. This is Mog on Mog's Cast, and once again coming at you from Kerbal Space Program. This is episode 25 in our first season, and this is going to be the finale episode for this season, I do believe. We're not going to do any more for a little while. We're going to jump onto some other games, Project Zomboid, things like that, and finish up some other things. I just want to get a little more variety on my channel because, I know you guys like Kerbal Space Program. That's why a lot of you are probably here, which I appreciate and absolutely won't forget. We're going to be doing more Kerbal Space Program. I'm just going to take a slight break, and then we're going to jump into another season. Now, by slight break, I don't know exactly what that's going to be. I'm going to play some Project Zomboid on the new builds until I get a little bored again, of course. And I don't want to play for too long, probably at least no longer than I've been recording Kerbal Space Program for, because I do have a lot of fun in Kerbal Space, KSP, but you know, I do want to play some other things too from time to time. So we're just getting up to Apple Apps here with the Wyvern Mk1. This is a little stock shuttle that I'm using, through-person little shuttle above the full launch stage. Once it separates into its final stages, it's completely stock. No mods in here whatsoever. So this was a little bit tricky to build to get exactly what I was going for, because in the past I've used some other mod parts for certain things, and of course made it a cathode mining unit so that it can refuel out and about, but that is not the case here. But yeah, it looks like Alec Anders here is our pilot. He's taking a little EVA, checking out the ship, inspecting before continuing on. And looks like I think jumping right back into the cockpit now, or whatever you want to call this, the command pod. Now you can see it does have the science instruments there at least, so just jumping back in, and looks like we're going to set up our maneuver node to burn out and circularize our orbit to make sure we aren't falling back to the surface of Kerbin. But yeah, so finale episode. I have mentioned previously that I'm giving away a copy of Kerbal Space Program free to one of our subscribers. Now there is a catch to that. There's a couple things you have to do to make sure that you're going to be eligible for that and entered into the random number generator that I'm going to be using to basically select who won. So yeah, it's a free copy. I bought it on Steam. I can gift it to you on Steam, and that's how I'll get it to you. So you have to have a Steam account. If you don't have one and you want to enter the contest, just make one. It just takes a few minutes. It's a very slick program if you don't have it already. I think it's great. But yeah, so what we're gonna do is, to qualify yourself to enter this contest, you have to be a subscriber first. Not like you can't do it now, but if you subscribe to my channel, you're eligible. And then secondly, what you need to do is drop a comment in this video by Monday the 13th at 11:59 p.m. That is the cutoff point. So tomorrow you basically got a little under 2 days to comment on this video. And I've been saying that for a while. I know that's not a whole lot of time, but I have been saying it for a while, so hopefully a lot of you guys know. But what you have to do is you have to leave a comment either giving us an idea for a mission in Season 2 of Kerbal Space Program, and that means something like visiting another planet, dropping off satellites, doing a lander run somewhere, visiting a certain moon. What I want to do first is get out to Duna, so that's going to be early season. If you guys want me to go somewhere else, drop it in the comment as an idea, and that'll be counted as an entry. The other thing you can do is drop a comment with an idea for Project Zomboid. And what I mean by idea is I want you to get a character name, so first and last, and it's got to be appropriate. I'm not going to do any stupid, retarded names. Yeah, so it's got to be, appropriate. It can be like your username or whatever if you want it to be, like your display name on YouTube. Things like that, you just got to make it into 2 parts. And what we're doing is you're going to need to build a trait system for that character as well. So you got to pick his class and his traits and then name. And that's basically what will enter you in the contest as an alternative to providing a mission for Season 2. But what we're looking at here now is the WyvernGate in the VAB. This is what the Wyvern is going to dock into for interplanetary travel, I hope. So we're launching it up here. This was tricky to get into orbit. I had some trouble with it, the WyvernGate Mk1. Now, I think it's a cool design, but I just pretty much noticed, yeah, I put the notes in here that I forgot to put the science instruments and other things. Maybe it was batteries or lights or something that I forgot to put on there, but I had to go back, and then you saw me go back and blow up one of my radial tanks right on the launch pad. So here we go again, launching this thing up, and I think this time we're going to be good. But yeah, we needed a lot to get this thing up into orbit. It's a heavy thing. I think it's like close to 150 tons in its final stage, with 12 nuclear rockets on the bottom of those tanks, so that we can be efficient and still move a good amount of tons. Now, you may notice this is not asparagus staging. Not really. It's more of an onion setup, I do believe, is what this is called. Just this very basic onion setup. The reason for this is because of its massive weight. I needed the extra engines to stay on there as long as possible to even move this thing properly. Otherwise, it tips forward and it becomes really unwieldy with a normal asparagus setup with such a tall rocket. Now, as you see, I disconnect this whole chunk there and just drop down to the engine there. I had to do that, so I had to make sure I was filtering fuel back and forth between those tanks so they stayed even the entire burn until those tanks were all out. But yeah, this ended up working, but as you can see, if you're watching that middle tank, that thing is wobbling like crazy. I didn't strut it down to the rest of the ship very well. It's at the top strutted in, right where it connects, but yeah, that was still pretty touch and go. But as you can see, we're getting up to an apoapsis of about 116-ish, and that's coming down a little bit because I'm angling myself down to push out my periaps with this before we get too high up. We're still not into an orbit yet. We're still definitely going to crash back into the surface of the planet if we don't do anything, but we're going for it. We're burning up. And yeah, so what we're going to be doing is once this gets up into a stable orbit, we're going to be bringing the Wyvern. Oh, we just engaged those nuclear engines and dropped the tank there. It looks like we ran out. But as you can see, like you may have noticed in the VAB, you notice those solid rocket boosters on the side. That's kind of like an extra boost, so I don't have to use as much fuel on this thing, hopefully. And that was kind of an idea that I came up with during some of my first test runs with this initial build, is get some solid rocket boosters on there just in case you're having a lot of trouble getting it into orbit. You can hit those for kind of like a last-ditch effort or to save some fuel. And at this point, I'm kind of wondering to myself why I haven't done it yet. I think I engaged them here pretty quick, because I have been using a lot of fuel to get up here, which is fine. We're still pretty local. We can refuel this thing. It's not a big deal. Oh, there they go. And as you can see, I turned down my nuclear rockets and I'm going at lower thrust, and then shut them back off. And I think I kick them back in here. Nope, I think I just let it roll up to about 130, and that's jumping up in our apoapsis. But we are in orbit now, looks like. So about 160 by 100 is what we ended on, which isn't bad because the Wyvern is actually up in like a 200-kilometer orbit, so it's still higher than us by a ways. So we got a ways to go. But yeah, we just kicked off those solid rocket boosters. We got the Wyvern targeted. What we're doing now is, I think we switched back to the Wyvern and are setting up a rendezvous burn to get into this spot with, yeah, the WyvernGate. So yeah, we're back with this ship. So now that the WyvernGate's up in orbit, this one's coming in for the rendezvous because it's a little more maneuverable and it has this tank still. So I basically am not having to use the vehicle fuel, because we're going to kick that tank off sooner or later. And we're just cutting in close. Lower orbit makes us catch up on it because it's a little higher than us, so we go faster, closer to the planet. And as you can see, it's coming into range there, about 100 kilometers off, and quickly approaching. Excuse me. And I've got my forward thrusters enabled, but that's not going to do the trick for stopping this thing. So as you see, I kind of overshoot the station, or the WyvernGate, and have to correct, but that's not too hard with a good engine like this currently. It's not pushing a whole lot of weight in comparison to what I can do, so it'll stop us quickly. And as you can see, we're pretty good there, and we're coming back into range. Just trying to get some maneuvers in here and figure out what's going to be best for getting us close to that station again. We're already getting pretty close again. Only about 2 kilometers off. We're within physics range. Flipping over, and as you can see, Alec down there in the corner, just, you know, being a boss. So there we go. But yeah, so guys, about the contest, remember, drop a comment, and with one of those 2 topics. There will be a description in the about on this video as well. So in case you need to double check on what it was you needed to post, it's right in there. Another thing is I know some people have been asking about getting Kerbal in the game, in the show here, with their username or whatever. You can still do that. That was a promo I was doing for my first 10 subscribers who have been already all added. But you can still get a Kerbal in this game if you'd like, so for Season 2. And how you can do that is you can come up with an idea for a mission, and this can be an entry if you like for the contest. You don't have to do this, but it's kind of an additional thing. If you want to build a stock rocket, and you can build the launch stage, but I can do that too. If you just build like your main vehicle, the purpose of your mission, like for example a rover or a little habitat module lander or station or whatever, if you build it stock, I will use a pilot for you to fly it in my mission if it gets chosen to be used on the show. So for example, if you're like, hey, I got this really cool idea for a lander for Lathe or for you know, Eve or something or whatever, and you're like, I'd really like to do this, and I haven't been doing it in the show or whatever, and you're kind of gung-ho to do it, and you have a cool design in mind, go for it. As long as it's a functional vehicle that can complete your objective or your mission that you want to do, build it up, and then get in contact with me either on YouTube or on my blog or on my Google Plus page. There's links to all that stuff. You can even post on the forums link for my Kerbal Space Program thread. That's in the description as well. And then I will get in contact with you, and we'll figure out how to get me that craft file. Excuse me, that craft file. But yeah, so that's one way that you can get a name for a Kerbal in the game for you. So it looks like we're getting real close here to the Wyvern Gate, and we're coming in like 50, a little over 50 meters out. And at this point, I kind of realized that I want to keep that back tank on so I can refuel this. And the only way for me to do that is to use the gate to dock to the Wyvern instead of vice versa, using the Wyvern just to dock into the gate, because this thing is actually balanced and has the Mk1 on it, so it can keep straight a lot easier than that thing back, or the Wyvern can with that huge partially full tank on it. So I kind of use this, and this is not what I had planned. I was planning to dock just the Wyvern into this thing manually, but yep, we had to kind of go in reverse to make sure we can get this thing refueled. Now I can refuel it on liquid and oxidizer, but not my monopropellant. That stuff, unfortunately, I run out of pretty quick. But I mean, I still have some, but I don't have anything to refuel it with, so we just are stuck with whatever we end with. And coming in here, this thing was tricky. It's very heavy and a lot of thrusters and not very well balanced, so I'm having to use the Mk1 to adjust for that and keep it level, which means it uses extra fuel just trying to keep itself level because it's not well balanced. But it works. It's functional at this point, and this is why this was not the plan, is because the Wyvern is balanced with that tank not on there. But because of needing to refuel, I figured this would be the easiest way to handle it. Now, I am not always the best at pressing buttons properly. I will screw things up occasionally, and I say that because I'm pretty sure I'm about to blow something up here, I think. It's been a little while since I edited this, but I make a little mistake here pretty quick. Yeah, so right here, I'm turning up the, I turned up the time warp to get in close, to see which way I was drifting, but I only wanted to turn it up one notch and slowly drift in, and then I went to go shut it off and press the increase button, and I shot right into the Wyvern, and I had to reload, but thankfully I had done a quick save just before. So we're just coming in here again and getting close. But yeah, so next season, not as many mods. I kind of screwed things up with my mods. I went a little crazy in season 1. I was adding mods mid-season, and we messed things up. If we go with mods, it's gonna be a few simple, straightforward things, and I'm gonna make sure that all my core final stages are stock, so that in the future, if we need to go to a new version or whatever, if we need to ditch mods, we can eject mod parts that add functionality and things to like satellites or main ships like Mk1. I might have that just as a detachable like junior docking port module kind of thing that we can just kick off like we did with the micro station above Minmus, and then basically that'll get me down to a stock vehicle that I can bring to a new game. That's what I did here, and I need to get ready for season 2 that way too. In fact, I've already done that, but I'll give you the update on that before this ends. And yep, refueling. So we're just putting fuel into these outer tanks again to refuel the whole system. The Wyvern itself should be fully fueled other than RCS, I would imagine. It probably got drained a little bit from RCS. But otherwise, it's still got full fuel tanks for liquid and oxidizer. And I think, yeah, we're all refueled now. Now we're going to kick off that back tank here, I do believe. I think so. But yeah, what do you guys think of this design? I thought it was kind of fun, and I'm hoping it'll have enough delta V to pull the orbital ring and the ship itself to like Duna. If we can get to Duna, I would say mission accomplished for this thing. How I'm gonna refuel it, without the Kethane mod, I don't know. Maybe just have to wait until we get refueling stuff for stock anyway, because I know that they're working on it. It's supposed to be for the next version, is what they've been saying. I don't know if that's getting pushed to the back burner, but we're supposed to get some sort of resource harvesting ability. And there we go. It looks like we're just testing some of the systems on the rocket here. Some final tests after docking together, checking lights, things like that. And there we go. We just ejected the that fuel pod in the back. So this is the final ship. And as you see in the very, very tip there of the WyvernGate, that's a small little probe body with Separatrons on it. It's got Separatrons and Mk1 attached, so as soon as I eject that, this is a stock ship. Now, the plan is to keep that on there because it's kind of nice to have Mk1, but you know, I know that when I go to Season 2, I want to get the new version because it's got a lot of new sweet features. Like I can kind of mix and match information into a single panel rather than having like 2 or 3 windows open at a time. I can just kind of merge it all together into one little window if I wanted to, with exactly what I want and need. And it looks like we're jumping over to the Caterpillar now. This is our little space bus that we have most of our subscribers in right now. In fact, we have all of our subscribers other than our clone Alec Anders, who is awaiting this at the WyvernGate. And the thing I forgot to do with this, and I think I mentioned it last time, is I totally forgot to refuel this thing before leaving, so it's very low on fuel. And we are burning right now for rendezvous, I do believe. Getting close, getting close. Come on, you can do it. I think Jeb's piloting this. Jeb's got this. There we go. We're down pretty much perfect. We're going to come very close to the station here. And as you can see, we're cutting in from outside to catch up on the station. So we come into a lower orbit, and that makes us go faster and catches up on the WyvernGate. Coming in about 40 kilometers out. Rendezvous module, because that thing's very helpful. It'll let you know exactly how close you're going to come. So I'm going to get about 2.75. And I, at this point, realized that I am dumb and totally misjudged how fast I'd be going on this rendezvous. So I overshoot this thing because we are going about 300 meters a second faster. So I have to flip around. I'm thinking the nuclear engines might have a little more thrust than those 2 smaller engines there. And we kick that on, but it's still not dropping very fast. I'm going to have to make some big corrections here. And with low fuel, this was not a very good thing to have happen. So we are just shooting out. I'm still going 200 meters faster, and we are just separating. Yeah, exactly. Well, crap, I say in my little thing there. I put these notes in here mainly so that I could kind of, as I'm going through commentary, remember what's happening. If I get a little sidetracked, I can look up, and if there's a note, I can stay on track. But hopefully that's okay with you guys. So yeah, we are like almost 20 kilometers away from this thing. We flew way past it. And at this point, I'm kind of freaking out, realizing that I need to do some big corrections here. So I'm burning toward it currently, trying to get back down to 0 in speed in relation to it, which is kind of where we want to be. And burning faster towards it, and trying to figure out which way is going to be bringing us down to the closest connection there. So we set up another node, and this is so that I can make sure that I'm burning properly. As you can see, look at that, 4 kilometers, bringing it back, 3.1, that looks good. So if we can get in there, if we have enough fuel to do this and then stop, we'll be good. But yeah, that was no good. So correction maneuver burn, that's what we're doing right now. Needed to burn about a little over 50 delta V, and that doesn't take too long. But there we go. And now we're coming back in, it looks like, zipping up. And it looks like we're going to get pretty darn close here. Yeah, just doing some corrections there. And there we go, zooming back toward this thing. Now this time, we're only going about 40 meters a second difference in speed, as opposed to the over 300 previously. So this is fine. I'm actually going to be able to get in close. I was still worried about running out of fuel, but I'm very glad that I was able to get back at least to here. Because from here, I can use RCS to come into dock. This isn't too far to push for RCS. But 20 kilometers might have been a little tricky. But yeah, we're coming in. I'm just checking around fuel, and I think we're still good on a few things. But yeah, we're less than maybe around an eighth. Well, I think we're maybe around an eighth of our fuel. Maybe. Oh, well, ninth. Yeah, whatever. But yep, coming in here, we're about 200 kilometers, or meters out, 250 meters out, and we're zooming in quicker, doing some time warp. Now, that's one thing, is I do use time warp a lot while docking, because it speeds things up, and instead of just going super slow and riding around on our RCS, it allows me to see exactly which way we're drifting quickly. So there we go. And this is our... Man, I really do like this space bus. I'm kind of bummed. We end up losing a lot of stuff in this transitioning to Season 2, which I started yesterday. The only things we have left are the Wyvern ship, not even the orbital ring, because I screwed up. I put a pod body underneath one of the docking ports, and apparently that's changed in the new versions, or with the new mods. I didn't think that was a mod part that I was putting on there. The Probodyne probe body that I have up on top, underneath the docking port, not the one that separates with Mk1, but the one underneath the main docking port on this unit. I put it there so that the WyvernGate can be used unmanned as long as it had power, so if I needed to move it and didn't have any crew on it, I could in orbit, but that screwed it up. I had to actually trash that. The only things we have left are the Wyvern ship, the 3-pod ship right above this that docked into the gate, and our micro station above Minmus that I ejected the mapping and cathane and other mod parts from, which is unfortunate. But on the plus side, it's taught me a valuable lesson to make sure that we do use stock parts for core sections of ships. And that's going to be the case. I already have things planned out. I've got ships moved over that I can use. I've got a couple of designs that are all stock moved over to the new version. And we're getting ready to actually start putting up new stations to replace the ones that are missing, to put up new, or to, I guess, land new settling units on the surface of the planets and stuff. And it looks like we're doing some crew transfer, because if you guys noticed just a minute ago, I couldn't dock the space bus because those engines were pushing on my battery packs, and I literally had like a foot of clearance in between. I could not connect them, and then I had a little trouble separating because of the magnets being so powerful. But it looks like Shroom's jumping over now. We had Jeb and Bill already transfer, but Shroom floats over and he's jumping in there. And look, what did I say? Security officer up in the main pod there. He's not a pilot or co-pilot, but you're the security officer, the third one in the pod. Who else are we jumping out and switching over? So I'm basically just going through the list on the transport and figuring out who I want to put in this WyvernGate so far. Because I have ideas for other missions, so I want to save some of you guys for other missions, but like I said, we had to delete stuff going into Season 2. I'll get you guys back up and make sure that you're in your proper weighting and positioning. So I'm not going to let you guys just disappear because I screwed up and had modded stuff that got removed. That's not going to be the case. Is this Black Death? I think Black Death. Yeah, Black Death's floating over from this. Doing a little spacewalk to get into position into the new ship. Yeah, so you guys stay tuned, obviously, for Season 2. I don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but keep an eye on my blog, which there's a link from my channel, or of course just stay tuned on the channel itself. That one's full. Looks like I think we're going to toss you in the science module. Right there. He wants to be the first science officer, Black Death. Congrats. You're our new science officer of the WyvernGate. Excuse me. But yeah, so we get all these guys transferred over and staged up, and this is the real Brinstar, not our clone Brinstar. He's out on the Minmus station or something. He's somewhere. I don't know where we left you, the clone. But yeah, this is your real character, the first one that was launched into space. He's still alive. I kept all you guys alive, other than the ones that got like bugged out and erased. But, would you guys want to see me play, what was it? I was just surprised by, Call of Juarez Gunslinger, the new game that's coming out, the Western, and it was on Steam for pre-order for like $15. I was expecting like a $60 game again. You know how they are typically with those titles that people have heard of. But, yeah, $15. I was like, you know what? At $15, I might do that. But I want to finish BioShock first. So I've been trying to play that more. I got 2 more episodes posted by the time I was recording this, so 5 and 6, I think. But I need to do the rest of them and finish that game just so we can be done with it. And you know, I do want to see it. It's a fun game that somebody bought for me. A friend of mine got it for me for a present, and I also, it was on the Steam pre-order. He got it for me, so I also got XCOM, which I want to play too. And that's why I want to finish BioShock, because I've already started it, and I don't just want to walk away from it. I want to finish it. But, looks like Kilroy, you're joining the science team too. Excuse me, sorry about that. But yeah, so we're going to be rebuilding a lot of this stuff. I've already fixed the gate, the Wyvern Gate, in the new version, made sure it was properly built so that I need to relaunch it, but it's already good to go. So I'll just need to launch it, refuel it, and then reman it. And it looks like we're switching back over, and I think that's pretty much good. Oh no, we got one more, it looks like. Getting close, though. Yeah, we're getting real close. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and comment and like the video if you'd like. And remember, yeah, drop a comment on those 2 certain topics. It's in the About in the section below, and you'll be entered for that contest, and I'll announce that by next weekend at least. See you guys next time. Cheers.